Don't mind me, I'm just sipping my tea here.
Jealous.
I'm kind of nervous. Just
No.
fangirling a little bit, you know.
Thank you.
Troye Sivan, welcome home.
Thank you so much. It feels so good. You have no idea to be back.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I'm just so happy. It makes me so happy just being in Australia in general, but like waking up this morning and going and getting like a good coffee and just, I don't know, can't compare.
How's the coffee in LA? You haven't found a good coffee in LA yet?
The best coffee I found is an Australian cafe that I frequent.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So can you give them a plug?
Yeah, well, it's Paramount Coffee Project.
Right, okay.
They've opened one in LA.
There you go. Oh, okay,
And
right.
Yeah,
And so
PCP.
So now you're good over there. You've got a hookup.
Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing.
Are you fully like settled down over there? Because I know you proper like live in LA now. You got your house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you all...
Yeah, I'm good. I'm settled. I wish this just got really real. I wish I had more friends, but but it's good. I like it there a lot.
Right.
It's not home, but it's good.
Yeah. You say you wish you had more friends, but I'm sure you've got like that core group of people around you, right? Like you've got people who I'm sure not just professionally, but you do have people that are sort of in your support group. Like you've got some people that are a solid squad.
I've got my team who are amazing, like my managers and stuff, who are friends. And then I've got my one best friend who I write with all the time.
Would be Leland.
And yes, Leland.
Yeah.
And then I've got my boyfriend. And that's pretty much it, though.
Mm.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How are you going? Is life good?
Life is so good. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's just been really, really good the last couple of weeks. And we just went to Singapore, had a really fun time there. And now I'm going to go home to Melbourne to see my family for a couple of days.
Nice.
And we're going to New Zealand, and yeah, it's really fun. It's been
Nice.
awesome.
So you're finding time amongst promo and doing stuff like this. You're finding time to have downtime, just have personal time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go for like 3 days to just chill with my parents.
I'm legit going on a holiday to Singapore in like 2 weeks. Any tips?
Yes, I did this bike share thing where you like scan on and you can grab a bike, and your first ride is free. And
is that like O-Bike, like the bikes?
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
Exactly. So there's O-Bike there, and then there's also like OFO and a couple others.
Right.
And it like completely unlocked the city for me. It was so fun to ride around.
Maybe they're just a lot better in Singapore, because they tried that in Melbourne last year for like a good 6 months, and they only just shut it down because it was a complete disaster. Like all the bikes ended up in the river and stuff. Like it was just no good. Yeah.
No, yeah. They park them in nice little places, and yeah, it was really, really fun. Like. But it does get very, very, very hot during the day. So I recommend going in the morning and at night.
All right. Okay, cool. So we should probably talk about music and talk about Bloom, which is the album. It's finished. It's coming out in less than 2 months now. It's the end of August.
Yes.
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the body of work that you've created and that sort of impending release? You know, do you get nerves when you're about to put out something like this, or can you just not wait for it to be out?
It's a mixture of both. I definitely get nervous, but I'm also so ready for it to be out. Like, I am so, so, so proud of this album. And I don't know, obviously I'm biased, but I feel like it's the best thing that I've made so far. And I'm really, really just so stoked, you know? So, yeah, there's so many surprises on there that have not come out yet, because we've released 4 songs from the album so far. Yeah. And those are like, you know, a pretty good representation of what the album's going to be in as a whole. But there's definitely still some stuff on there that I'm really, really excited for people to get their hands on.
I cannot get over how phenomenal The Good Side is.
Thank you so much.
I mean, obviously all the songs are amazing. I'm not saying that's, you know, the rest are crap.
I had this experience that I was tempted to write about, but also really intimidated by writing about, in which I went through a breakup, and I just sort of felt like I got kind of the better end of the stick, or whatever that saying is.
The good side.
The good side. And it sucked, because I, of course, never ever want to hurt anyone, and especially someone that you care about that much. And so, you know, not at all saying that it was worse to get the good side, because obviously it's not. But it was just this really complex thing where I was like, I had a lot of guilt about the way that things sort of went down. You know, I got to go on tour right away and distract myself with all of that. I met someone really soon afterwards, and that definitely wasn't like a planned thing. And there was all of this, you know, stuff that was going on, and the person and I haven't spoken since we broke up. And so I had this whole like can of worms that I was like, do we even try? How are we going to fit that into a 3-minute song and handle it sensitively and communicate all of those different emotions? And we just decided to try. And
you've
literally
nailed
like
it. You have absolutely
20 minutes later. Oh, thank you. No, yeah, 20 minutes later it was like done. And I was like, I feel like this really tells the story from beginning to end. And I hope that you can hear in the song that it comes 100% from a place of like love and caring. And
and that's what I think is so cool about it, because you can tell immediately, like, and that's the fact that you have managed to fit those emotions into a 3-minute song is a testament to the skills of your songwriting and the team around you.
Thanks.
But it doesn't, it's a breakup song, but it's not a bitter breakup song. It's not, something that you would conventionally associate with that kind of theme.
I was nervous to put that one out because it was just really, really like personal. And then as well, I just didn't know like if the person was going to hear it or not or whatever. And crickets. So I don't know if they've heard it or not, but whatever.
Okay, so there hasn't been that text message.
No.
Hey, heard the song? No, not yet. Okay.
No.
How do you think you've evolved and changed between Blue Neighborhood and Bloom? Is there anything that 2018 Troye would say to the Troye who was writing Blue Neighborhood?
Yeah, I think it was like a mixture of normal growing up stuff, like just life experience. And then as well, I think at the time that I was writing the first album, I was really, really being thrust into this like crazy lifestyle that, of traveling all the time and being away from my family for the first time. And that relationship, the good side is about, was sort of falling apart. And I think you can feel that like weight in the writing, and I managed to kind of like adjust to all of that now and like shed some of that weight, I think. And I just feel much happier. And I think that you can feel that now in the music. I think it's like a lot lighter. And then on top of it as well, like just understanding the songwriting process a lot better. Like the first time I was going in for the first album, I was so petrified, to make any sort of like suggestion that was maybe a little weird or out of the box. And now I'm like, now that I understand that everyone is just trying to make the best thing that they possibly can, and there's no such thing as a stupid idea, everyone just suggests stuff constantly, including myself. And, we end up with like on Dance to This, there's this like weird spoken bridge thing. And then like in Bloom, there's this like weird computer voice that comes in during the bridge. Like we're just like having a good time, and I think that you can feel that in the music.
That probably is a good segue into my next question, which is about the songwriting process. And you've worked with some juggernauts of, the songwriting world. You've worked with the Max Martins and the like, these people who, for those who don't know, have written, I think he's got more number one hits than anyone else
probably
on earth to his name. Right. Actually, no, I think it's number 3. I think he's number 3. I think it's John Lennon, Paul McCartney are the first 2 songwriters, and then he's had more number 1 hits. So these are huge songwriters, and I presume they have a team that complement them as well, right?
Yeah. So I should say I've never worked with Max directly.
Okay, you work with his team.
His disciples.
His proteges.
Yes.
How do you go, obviously, getting put into these writing sessions with these teams of other people? You're still able to maintain such a feeling of authenticity on the music? So what I've heard so far of Bloom is just feels, as we just spoke about them with the good side, so authentic, and it feels like it's your words. How do you manage working with a team of writers, but still sort of being in that position where you steer the ship as the artist?
Well, so the way that we write is there's never more than like 4 people in the room on any one given song, maximum like 5. So it feels like the same kind of thing. I'm either going in with my sort of core crew who I wrote the first album with, which is there's 4 of us in that environment, or then I go in, like My was 5 of us in the room. Bloom was 4 of us, I think. Like, yeah, it's, so numbers wise, it's not that intimidating. But of course, if you go in knowing, someone's like discography of everything amazing that they've ever done, it can be really scary. But what I did is for the first 3 weeks of writing the second album, I just worked with my like OG crew, and we sort of really made sure to like develop a sound in that room where I felt most comfortable, to the point then where I felt confident enough to like go into a room with people that maybe I've never met before and not feel
Right.
like bulldozed, you know, and have enough of a sense of self to be able to kind of stay afloat in that kind of room. But I mean, ultimately, like the thing that shocked me the most, I was kind of expecting to go in with them and then be like, okay, so here is the magic formula. Don't tell anyone, you know?
Here it is.
And it didn't happen. It was like they don't have that. They songwriters like anybody else who just sure they have like little tips and tricks that they try and use, but like the main rule is if it feels good, do it. Doesn't matter if it breaks every single rule in like the so-called pop book or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, do what feels right, and everyone's just like, you know, throwing out ideas. It feels like any other writing session.
You're still obviously quite young and just incredibly successful and having this bizarre, obviously I'm imagining it must be a bizarre life that you still sort of have to get used to
Totally.
day to day, even now in the second album on Bloom. Do you ever something I find a lot of creative people deal with is a sense of imposter syndrome. Do you ever have that sort of sense of, do I belong here or should I be doing this?
1000%. Yeah. It's so weird to just like put your self-worth on so many other people, you know what I mean? Like having such a public job that relies so much on reception from others. It's super, super weird. And so when it's when something maybe doesn't work out the way you want it to, it's really easy to get down on yourself and get kind of sad about it. And then even when things are going like insanely well, like anyone, you're going to have moments of self-doubt. And then in that environment, it's like amplified, I feel like, because you're there's just so much pressure around you, you know, like or even just pressure that you put on yourself, you know, it's like, it just feels, it's like super, super surreal, almost all of it. And so it's easy to like be like, well, wait, I'm just like a normal, you know, what did I do? Or do I really belong here kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you find you can manage that? Do you have any secret sort of, is there something that you do? Do you meditate? Do you go for a walk? Like, what is it that helps?
Honestly, you just fake it. Like, fake it as much as you possibly can.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. I don't think it's possible to actually have enough confidence to like survive and do the things that that you have to do. And so you're either like an egomaniac or you're faking it, you know? And so I just sort of like close my eyes. I'm like, okay, just for the day, pretend you are the pop star that you'd like to be and just like go for it, you know? It does get easier to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Like I compare filming My, the music video, to filming like the Bloom video or the Dance to This video with Ariana that's coming out soon. It's like that those nerves are still there and that self-doubt is still there, but the feeling of pushing through it and getting to the other side of it is a much more familiar one. So you kind of get better at it.
Yeah. You just touched on Dance to This, which is on the album, and it was so you did the video with Ariana as well. Yes. How did the song come about? And because you two are friends, right?
Yeah. So we met for the first time at the Billboard Awards a few years ago, and then just kept in touch because I don't know, she's just a really like normal girl and I really, really just love her. And yeah, we just kind of stayed friends. And then I had the song and I knew that I wanted a female vocalist on it. And then like one day I was like, oh my God, what if I ask Ariana? And I got all nervous and I just sent it to her. And thank God she liked it. Yeah.
Were you expecting any other result?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always prepared because sometimes there's a million reasons why you could like not want to do something. You know, maybe it's bad timing, or maybe like maybe you're in the middle of your album and you're really super busy, or maybe you just don't like the song that much or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm, you know, like completely I wouldn't take, and I told her this, I'm like, it's not personal if it's not, you know, like I get it if you can't do it or whatever, but I just wanted to send it over. And she was like, never mind all of that stuff. I am so down. Let's like do this.
Amazing.
And it's cool because she's in the middle of like promoting all of her stuff right now. And she's just been an absolute legend about everything. She's been so nice.
That's so cool. Something else to sort of digress a little bit is I wanted to talk about you kind of almost pioneered this model of having this one-to-one connection. You know, you and a few other artists, I think, who are, have come up at the same time, have pioneered this connection, this one-to-one connection with your fans. Whereas, previously people had to do radio interviews like this one, and you came up through YouTube, and you're very comfortable having that direct channel. It's just you and the fans, and I imagine you still work hard to make sure that's maintained today.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do without it, honestly. Like, I mean, they're just like, it sounds so cheesy, and I'm sure everyone says this, but it really does feel like friends, and it's like the amount of times that I've been somewhere random without my friends and without my family, and like opened Twitter and suddenly felt like completely relaxed, and like I have, all these friends online. It really is real for me. And so, to be able to like, I also just get so stoked to share stuff with them. Like, I get so excited when I feel like I've made something cool or something that like they're going to love. Nothing brings me more joy than sharing it. So keeping that relationship up and keeping it fun for me is like probably the single most important thing.
Wow. Okay. Do you have any favorite songs on Bloom? Released or otherwise?
Yeah, I have a bunch, but for different scenarios, I think if I had to pick like two favorites, I would say there's a track on there called Animal that it's the last song on the album, and it sort of just like checks all the boxes that I want of things that I wanted to achieve with this album. It's like, it's a love song. It feels really epic, and it's got like, I don't know, it's just, I'm super proud of it. And then as well, I love My Mama still. Yeah,
that's a great song. That's like pure joy encapsulated, isn't it? That's
and I've never written like happy songs like that before, so I was really surprised when that came out, and I was really happy.
Was that a quick song to write? They say the best songs are the ones that just,
The chorus came super quick, and actually, the whole thing did. But then the scary thing is that normally as I'm writing a song, I'll record the vocals. Like, we'll write a verse, I'll quickly go in and record vocals so that we can feel out, if anything needs to change. With My Mama, we wrote the whole song before I ever tracked the vocal, and I loved the song when we were just like singing it in the room. And as I was going up to like record the vocal, all I could think was like, oh God, don't mess this up, because this is a good song. Don't mess this up. And thankfully, it all just clicked and came together, and everything worked out.
Well, from what we've heard so far, it's going to be a phenomenal album. I love what I heard so far, so very excited for it to be released, and excited to play some of these tracks already on the radio for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, what's the rest of 2018 look like for you? Now that the album's about to come out, I'm sure this is where it gets pretty intense. What's next?
So the album is out August 31st, and then I'm going to start touring. I start in the US, and then obviously I'm going to come to Australia next year. Yeah, definitely next year. I just haven't got those dates yet.
Yeah, but it's happening. You will be coming.
100%, of course, yes.
Beautiful.
And then I've got a movie coming out in November called Boy Erased, with Joel Edgerton and Nicole Kidman and Russell Crowe, and Lucas Hedges and myself, which I'm super, super stoked about.
Amazing.
Almost everyone's Australian, and we're all doing American accents, and it's fun. And then, I'll tour into next year, and then God knows.
Did anyone teach you how to do an American accent? Did any of those guys give you the masterclass in doing an American accent?
I had a dialect coach who helped quite a lot. But it was like, it's the worst set in the world to try to do an American accent on, because you're meeting everyone is Australian, and you're all just like talking in between takes in like full Ocker accents, and then you got to switch all of a sudden.
Switch into American mode.
Yeah.
I love it. Troye Sivan, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to be hanging out with you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.